So standard form of a line is what we got today. There was an activity on the other side of this page. We did it together in class. You can try that on your own and come check it, but this is where we'll start watching our video for this lesson today. Standard form of a line is called ax plus by equals c, and yep, it's picky about the a, b's, and c's being capital letters. They want them to be capital letters. But A, B, and C are just numbers, dude. You know, they're just totally numbers. Like, get out of the mind that they're letters. Like back here on this equation, A is 2, B is 4, C is 24. Are you with me on that? It's just A, B, and C, right? They are numbers. But for it to truly be in standard form, those numbers have to be integers, which means no decimals, no fractions, right? A, oh my God, what does that say? A has to be greater than 0. So, like, what does that mean if you're bigger than 0? What kind of number are you? It starts with a P. Positive, right? A's got to be a positive guy. And then the GCF of the numbers, that stands for greatest common factor. Have you heard that before? The greatest common factor is 1. So this guy doesn't quite work for standard form because can you see that even though I got all integers, like A's positive, but is there a common factor that goes into 4, 8, and 12 evenly? What could I reduce each one of those by? By 4. So that would be 1x plus 2y equals 3. This is the better version of that equation. It's called standard form of a line, which is weird because I don't think that is the most standard form that we use. The one that we use the most is slope-intercept form, but I didn't create the names on these guys. So here's what we do, though. It's kind of like a small little cheat code, and I think since we're an advanced class, I will teach you the cheat codes for standard form of a line. Most algebra classes in high school don't teach this anymore, right? They're like, nah, we're just going to stick with slope-intercept form and y equals mx plus b and point-slope form. We're just going to stick with those and call it good. So here's what we do. We're going to find the x-intercepts and the y-intercepts, and then we're just going to plot it. And that's easy to do on this. But before we do it, let's talk a little bit about it. Is this point right here, just talk to me, an x-intercept? Yes or no? Yes. What would it be as an ordered pair? Is it 2, 0 or 0, 2? 2, 0. What is this point right here as an ordered pair? I'm not going to write them all down. 4, 0. What is this point right here as an ordered pair? If you are an x-intercept, can you notice just in the 3 ordered pairs that I've written down, something is common to those? What is common to those bad boys? The y value is how much? 0. So here's how we're going to cheat. We're going to start with an ordered pair to find the x-intercept of this guy and do just what you told me. We're going to put a 0 in for the y. That is a guaranteed fact, dude, that if you have an x-intercept as an ordered pair, its y value is 0. And now, here's where we do this little thing. We substitute 0 into this equation for y, because isn't that the letter that we put a 0? Isn't it that y? Are you with me on that? And what's so nice about that is putting 0 in is easy money, dude, because 0 times anything is how much? So what happens is a lot of people call this the cover-up method. I can't show you with my fingers because it doesn't project, but they like take their finger and just like cover this up, you know. Don't scratch it out because we're going to use it again in a little bit, but they just cover that up because if you put 0 in for that, it turns out to be nothing, right? You know, it just disappears. And you see what's left in this equation is 2x equals 10, right? 2x equals 10. Could you solve that for x? Like, what would you do if I asked you to solve this for x? What's your move? Divide by 2. What do you get? 5. And I think we are intelligent enough to do that without any work shown. You're welcome to do some work, but the x-intercept of this line right here would be 5, 0. So I'm going to go plot it. Boom. And then I'm going to erase that because I didn't want that to be happening. Hey, let's see if we can figure out what's true about y-intercepts. Look at all these points right here. What would be true about their ordered pair of y-intercepts? Somebody's got to be 0. Who's got to be 0? So we'll set him up as an ordered pair, and we'll make x 0 every time. And all we do is we substitute 0 in for x. Are you with me on that? We're just going to let x be 0 back in this OG equation. So this goes away, and here's the danger zone. That is not a 5y right there. It is a minus 5y. Are you with me on that? So what we do is we divide both sides by negative 5 to figure that out. What's 10 divided by negative 5? Negative 2. We have found the x-intercepts and the y-intercepts. We're going to graph them both. And then all you need to do to make the line is take your straight edge and connect those 2 dots together. We did not need to put that in slope-intercept form. I wonder if I got it. Nope, I don't got it. We did not need to put that in slope-intercept form because it was in standard form. We could find the x-intercepts and y-intercept, plot those two, and graph it. And that's all you'll do on homework. You'll plot the x-intercept, you'll plot the y-intercept on the computer, and it makes the line, and boom, you are done. All right? So let's do that again. How do we do it again? When this guy's in standard form, we're going to set up two generic ordered pairs. All right, we're going to set up two ordered pairs. And for the x-intercept, it's kind of like opposite game, dude. For an x-intercept, which one's the 0? Y. It's like opposite of the letter x, you know. And then for a y-intercept, isn't the x value 0? So you set them up like that, man. And then what do? For an x-intercept, you put 0 in for y, because that's literally what that guy is. This dude disappears, and you're left with 3x equals negative 12. What would x equal in that case? You just got to divide both sides by 3, and don't you get negative 4 back, right? Then reverse it. We'll do that dude over here. If I'm going to substitute 0 in for x, people are like, why are you putting it in for x? Because isn't that what this is as an ordered pair? Don't they always go x comma y? So I'm going to let 0 be x. That goes away. And what does y turn out to be? Negative 6. Let's plot those 2 points. Negative 4, 0 is right here. That is the x-intercept. 0, negative 6 is right here. Take your straight edge and connect them together, baby. This is pretty much the only time where I don't require you to put 4 points on the line because it's in standard form. If it was y equals mx plus b, we'd just do 4, you know. But cool. So let's do one more together here. I'm going to set this up. When it's in standard form, we're going to set them up as two generic ordered pairs. Put your zeros in the right place. Put your zeros in the right place. For x-intercept, y is 0. For y-intercept, x is 0. Then work together and substitute 0 in here and see what happens. So if I put 0 in for y here, I got 7 back. Is that cool with you? And then if I put 0 in for x, I get what back? 2. 7, 0. Wham. 0, 2. Boy, isn't this just super terrific and beautiful and perfect? And it's like, what an amazing world we live in, how that worked out so nice every single time. Let me ask you this question here. 2x plus 5y equals 17. Is that in standard form? It's got to go ax plus by equals c. Is it in standard form? Yes. This one isn't going to be very pretty at all. Why isn't that going to be very pretty at all? This number doesn't divide by 5 evenly. This number doesn't divide by 2 evenly. We have picked very, very nice ones to where this number is a multiple of these guys to get the point across. That's when standard form has an advantage. It's like, hey, those are all like multiples of 14, you know, in that case. So that's going to work out for me. So it should work out pretty nice on the next one. I'll let you find the x-intercept and the y-intercept with a neighbor. Pause the video, see what you think. Watch your signs. Cool. If I let y be 0, x turned out to be, it's a little too easy, right? X turned out to be what? 10. You know, it's like, all right, okay, x is 10. There's nothing really to do there. And then what do you get on the next dude if you let x be 0? Do you get negative 2 or positive 2? You see that there is a negative 5 in front of there. If you put 0 in for this, 10 divided by negative 5 is a negative 2. Cool. Plot the points. Make sure you plot the points right also. 10, 0. Which one of them is 10, 0? Red dot or green dot? It's the red one. You know, it's very easy to get them backwards, you know, so watch the plotting of the points. And 0, negative 2. Cool. All right, man, take the straight edge, connect those together. Bam, beautiful. That was standard form of a line. And what we'll do here on these last 6 problems is discover the shortcuts. But we can't just show you the shortcut without you figuring it out. So they are asking us to do this. Find the slope. I guess I didn't type it on there. Sorry. They want us to find the slope of the lines. A bad thing is students think that the slope of a line is always the number in front of x. And that is only the case if you have y all by itself. You know, I shouldn't say that. If you have point slope form, you can see it also. But 99% of the time, Like we see it like y equals mx plus b. The number in front of x is the slope. Y's got to be all by itself. Is y all by itself here? Nope. So let's get y all by itself. What's our first move? Subtract the x from both sides. I like it. We'll show that baby step. Next chapter we might not, but I want to do this entire chapter. We'll show that. If we're moving x's or y's to the other side, we'll show that. Those go away. Minus 5y comes down. And then I think you guys have understood that we put that in the correct order of the x's first and the number second. We're cool with that. What do I still got to do? Divide by negative 5. We'll show that baby step to all three places. And then those cancel. And right here, I know it's still kind of new. It's amazing if I ask it out loud, we'll all get it right. But can you learn to ask it to yourself? It's a negative over a negative. What does that become? Positive. What number's upstairs?
1.
A 1. Cool. Now let's answer the question. What's the slope? What's the slope? Now you can just look right here and tell you what's the slope. The slope is 1/5. Are you cool with what I'm asking you to do? Like get y by itself and find the slope. Could you do that on 6, 7, 8, and 9 with a neighbor? Do that. Here was 6's answer if you want to check yourself real quick before we do that. And then check back for 7, 8, and 9. Do 7 real quick. Here is 7. Subtract 4x. Divide every term by 4. And the slope is negative 1. Now let's try 8. I got that far on 8 and said, oh no, y-intercept isn't going to come out nice. We will leave him a fraction. Does 16/3 reduce? No. Leave it that way. I would hate to graph that. That would be a sucky one to like plot that. The cool thing is we don't care about that. They want to know what's the slope. Could you answer that question? What's the slope? What's the slope? Negative 2. About right. Cool. One more, man. One more. And then there's what I got for 9. My question to you is, yes, of course, there are sign errors that happen to all of us. Do you understand how to do that? Yes or no? Cool. Can you do it on 10 when there's no numbers? Try with a neighbor. Try with a neighbor. Same procedure. Same procedure. Whatever you did first on those first 5 problems, do it again. Tell your neighbor what the first thing you should do is. What do you want to do first, guys? Minus AX from both sides. Let's do it. Peace out, Girl Scout. Doesn't BY come down? Hey, are these like terms? They have not been at any of these times, right? Because one of them has an X with it and the other one does not. Are you with me on that? They are not. Which order do you want to put it in? Negative AX plus C. Yeah. Am I finished? What do I still got to do? Divide every term by B. Bada boom, bada boom, bada boom. Peace out, Girl Scout. Those cancel because you got a B upstairs and a B downstairs. That don't cancel. So we're going to leave it. Negative A over B with an X off to the side plus C over B. That's weird, right? I got a question for you. What's the slope? And that's a shortcut. If you had an equation in standard form, true or false, this is standard form's equation. You don't have to go through all of this work to find the slope because it will be the opposite of A over B every time. Let's just check. Let's start with this guy right here. Who is A and who is B? A is 3, B is 9. Do the opposite of A, negative 3 over 9. Does that reduce? What's the slope? It's negative 1/3. Opposite of A, negative 4 over B, 4. What's that reduce to? Negative 1. What I'd like you to put in this box, right? Sorry, that's not erased. So this box right here is what the slope of a standard form line will be. And it's the answer that you put right here. What is So son of a gun. What is the slope of the equation in the standard form every time? Negative a over b. What we need to do is clean up our language on that. It's not actually negative a. It's the opposite of a. Because sometimes that could be a negative number, and people are like, oh, you just put the negative. It's going to be the opposite of a over b. Cool? The opposite of a over b. So, quick. Find the slope with a neighbor. Find the slope. Find the slope. Find the slope. Opposite of a over b. What is it? Negative 2 over 5. You with me? Okay. 7x plus 3y equals 21. Find the slope. These are tricks that we should dominate the ACT with in a couple years when we take it. Isn't the slope negative 7 over 3 in that case? Right? So, from here on forward, if they ever ask you straight up to find the slope, this guy has to be in standard form, though, first. It doesn't quite work that way if you had, like, 6y plus 3 equals 2x. Are you with me on that? It's not ready for that. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be in standard form first. Cool? Awesome. Let's do some homework.